To think that in such a place, I led such a life. As we gather here today to mark the culmination of our academic journey, these words resonate deeply. For myself and many others, this graduation is our first walk. Most of us graduated high school in 2020 amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. I began my first semester of college from a folding table in my grandmother's guest bedroom. Each of us in our makeshift classrooms at home spent endless hours on Zoom, adjusting our cameras and microphones and apologizing for technical difficulties. This was the start of our experience at Miami University. But even after we returned to Oxford, our story as a graduating class goes far beyond the red brick walls of our campus. As we navigated the early stages of independence and maturity that often present personal challenges, we were also witness to an ever-changing global landscape. We were called to vote in a period of political instability, many of us for the very first time. Across the country, we watched the sky turn orange as Canadian wildfires burned for months. We've seen multiple declarations of war that shook our peers and communities. From Zoom sessions together across time zones, with thousands of miles between us, to our return to the beautiful brick streets of Oxford, we as a Miami community offered support to each other in times of hardship. As our campus slowly returned to life after the pandemic, our connection with the Miami community grew stronger. I found a home as a teammate on the court. I was supported as a woman in engineering. We all grew to become mentors to underclassmen and leaders in CEC. Thinking back 4 years, even when we were too nervous to initiate a connection post-COVID, the Miami community reached out and helped all of us find a home.
As the Oxford community reached out to us, we connected with our peers in a variety of ways. I joined a service fraternity during my first semester and ended up finding a lifelong group of friends. I worked first-year orientation as a SOL and met hundreds of incoming Miamians. I was able to perform research and form lasting relationships with faculty members. And as you think back on your own college experiences, I'm sure many of you have similar stories to tell. However, as we take time to look back on our Miami journeys, I seldom linger long on the big milestone moments that we all love to celebrate. Things like research presentations, end-of-year banquets, or graduation. Instead, I find myself remembering the small interactions I've had with my peers and instructors. These fleeting moments, for example, getting lunch uptown with a new friend, receiving an invitation to TA from a professor, or dragging your friend on a walk on the nature trails, are the times I remember most vividly. As I reflect, I've realized this. We can all find achievement in the small things we do every day. We can derive happiness from the mundane, like when we finally write the report we've been putting off or complete the last piece of our code. And, more importantly, we can provide happiness to others just by living our own lives. When my time at Miami got rough and I wanted to drop out and go live under a rock, my community pulled me through. My friends would send me texts out of the blue. Someone held the door for me on a day where every step felt like an eternity. By performing these small acts of kindness for others, we all have a chance to leave a small light in someone else's life, wherever we may go next.
What comes next? When asked, you might say you're starting a job. You might say you're continuing your education in graduate school or professional school. You might say you're joining a branch of the armed forces. There's a famous quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." Whatever we may say comes next, it is important to remember that our future depends on our choices, big and small. And with this diploma in our hands, we are prepared to choose the best path for ourselves. Through our time at Miami, we have learned not only how to solve difficult math problems, but how to try again when we first got them wrong. We have demonstrated not only understanding of key concepts, but why we might want to check our work after calculating a 10,000% yield in chemistry lab. We have learned our own strengths, and with that, our limits do not exist. When the going got tough, we got tougher, evident by us sitting here today. What comes next? It will continue to get tougher, but so will we. We are prepared to show up for ourselves, and we have learned how to show up for each other as a community. In incredible colleagues at on-campus jobs, wonderful collaborators in research labs, dedicated peers in clubs that showed up to every late-night meeting, and friends that always saved us a seat in class, Miami University has not only shaped us into engineers, but standout citizens of the world. We inspire each other, challenge each other, and most importantly, support each other through the good and the bad. With that collaborative spirit and a little bit of love and honor, we will succeed at anything that comes next.